In this video, I'll show you exactly how to use ChatGPT Work step by step. Now, Work is the mode where you hand ChatGPT a whole task instead of a simple prompt, and it just does it. I'm David. We'll start with basic tasks like making Excel workbooks, PowerPoint decks, and how to get high quality results. And then we'll move on to the more powerful stuff like plugins, skills, schedule tasks, and my personal favorite, hosted web pages. By the end, you'll know how to hand ChatGPT real work and get back something you'd actually use. Let's go. It's completely free to get started with ChatGPT Work. Just use the link on screen and click the download button to get the desktop app. Once you're in, right here in the middle is the prompt box. This part is the same as the chat you're used to. The new part, though, is up on top, where you switch between chat and work. Chat answers questions, while work does the whole task and hands you back finished files. You might also spot a separate view called Codex. That one's for writing software, so if you're not a programmer, you can ignore it. Over on the left-hand side of the screen is your past work. You can keep track of several tasks running at the same time here. Down in the prompt box, there's a button you don't want to miss. It controls where the work happens, either on your computer or in the cloud. Make sure this is set to your computer if you want to use files from your desktop. With that out of the way, let's give ChatGPT Work something real to do. I've got this folder full of sales spreadsheets from my donut shop. I've been putting off going through these for weeks to figure out which donuts we should double down on. So let's ask ChatGPT Work to help. To give ChatGPT access to this folder, you can click the plus button in the prompt box and then click Files and Folders to select it. My favorite way, though, is to just take the folder and drag it into the prompt box. Before you give it a task, tell it to ask for approval before it does anything sensitive. That's your training wheels while you're getting started. Later on, as you get more comfortable, you can move up to approving automatically. Now, write your task as a work order instead of a question. My advice is to write it like you would tell a colleague who's covering for you when you're sick. The first prompt in a conversation usually has 3 parts. There's the outcome, which is what you want. So we want a new Excel file with a summary of which donuts make the most money and which ones lose the most, plus an insight that we should act on. The second part is context. That's information ChatGPT can use to successfully complete the task. Here, we're telling it about our 4 months of sales spreadsheets. Part 3 is the standard. That's what good looks like. We're pretty loose here with 2 requirements. Make your insights in plain English, and the dollars should be rounded to the nearest whole number. Now let's run it and see what's different from chat. You'll see it isn't typing an answer back at you right away. It's reading the files and working through the process. Once it finishes, we can open the file that it made by clicking on it. Let's close the left sidebar so we have more space. Now we have the Excel preview on the right side of the page. You can see it pulled the margins out of 4 different sales spreadsheets, put them in one place, and ranked them with the losers on the right side of the screen. And there it is. Maple bacon is losing me money on every single one. It turns out you can put bacon on a donut, you just can't afford it. This is good, but like most times you work with AI on a real task, it's not right the first time. There are 2 issues here. First, I want these box sets broken out into a different category. Second, there are some weird characters up here in cell A2 that it needs to take care of. To make these changes, you don't need to start over, you just need to tell it what's wrong. I've asked to split the box lines out and then also fix these characters. The more context you can provide, the better, so I'm going to paste in a screenshot of those funky characters in row 2. While this is working, just a note that this back and forth is really how you get the best results. Don't expect to write the perfect initial prompt, just start somewhere and steer from there. This update looks much better. Let's not stop here. We'll take it one step further and turn this into a PowerPoint report. Now, creating slides takes a long time. So instead of running this and just hoping it looks like what you want, switch on plan mode first by clicking on the plus icon, then clicking plan mode. In plan mode, ChatGPT asks you questions to understand your goal, and then it comes back with the steps it intends to take before any action is done. It's much faster to create a plan, and when it shows up in the chat window, you can click it to send it to the right side of the screen. Now you can change anything in this plan. Just select the words you want to change and then click edit. But if you're okay with the plan, tell ChatGPT to implement it. Now, fixing the work after it's done is slow and it costs you usage. Catching mistakes with plan mode is way cheaper. It creates a single slide for us, which we can preview inside the app. It tells a visual story of why we should raise prices on the maple bacon donut. Now, all these files it's creating are on your computer, but they don't go in the folder you pointed at. You can find them by clicking on this arrow in the top right and then clicking on Open in Folder. So far, we've only created files, but ChatGPT can also go into the apps you use and take action there through something called plugins. We'll click Plugins here and see the apps that you can connect. There are apps for email, for files, for chat, for calendar, and a bevy of business tools. Installing one is pretty simple. You just click on the Install button next to a plugin you care about. That launches a browser window to sign in. Once you finish the sign in, you'll see you're connected. Now to use it, you call it out by name. So let's try it in a new chat. In your prompt, type the @ symbol and then the name of the connector and then press enter to reference it. Then ask it to do something. My request here is to find a supplier price list, which I misplaced, and then tell me if my flour costs have gone up. It finds the file, yes, my costs have gone up, and here's the file to prove it. There are over 1,000 different plugins in ChatGPT, and the plugin for today's sponsor is QuickBooks Workforce. They're the payroll and HR side of QuickBooks Online. You can go to plugins, search for QuickBooks, click connect, and then sign in. And then in the connector, you can see all the skills it gives you access to, like onboarding a new hire for payroll or analyzing your payroll cost. So now I can ask it something it wouldn't possibly know without my books. Like, what am I paying each of my employees this week? And the answer has my actual staff and real payroll numbers. Now in the background, QuickBooks Workforce still runs my payroll. And because it's built into QuickBooks, I get the same level of financial reporting there that I get across the rest of my business. You can get started with QuickBooks Workforce for your payroll and HR needs at the link in the description below. That's 90% off for a limited time. Now let's take this one step further and say that I want this PowerPoint slide every single month. Normally, I'd have to write the whole prompt over again, but there is another way to do it called skills. To create a skill, type the @ symbol and then type skill creator. I'll name my skill donut margin report and tell it what the result should be. A skill has a set of instructions saved inside of it. So when that new report comes in, I'll type the name of my skill, donut margin report, and then press enter. ChatGPT knows exactly what to do to create that PowerPoint slide. And here's the slide, same format, just different data. Now that those instructions are saved in the skill, you can run it on a schedule. This is called a scheduled task and you set it up right from the prompt box. In your prompt, ask for your report to be run on a specific cadence. That sets up a scheduled task, which you can manage from the left sidebar by clicking scheduled. So this one task is now reading my spreadsheets and advising me on pricing, and I don't have to be there for any of it. This last feature is one of the coolest in ChatGPT Work. So right now, this report just lives in PowerPoint, but you can also publish the report to a secure website and share it with your team. I'll ask ChatGPT to publish this summary as a simple web page that I can send my teammate a link to. You should see it mention the Sites feature, which you can also manage from the left sidebar by clicking Sites. It takes about 10 minutes to create a rich website experience for you. You can share it with this URL and you'll use your ChatGPT login to get into it. That's how to use ChatGPT Work to actually get work done every day. Now, if you want to go deeper, I put together a full list covering everything here on ChatGPT. Don't miss out on 90% off QuickBooks Workforce with the link down below for a limited time. Thanks for watching.